power-packed next 30 minutes. Don't blink because you're going to see some amazing reference implementation and code and demos and research and ideas. And to lead that, we have a brilliant scientist from MIT, Pradyumna Chari. Go ahead, Pradyumna.
Thanks so much, Ramesh. Thank you so much, everyone who has joined in to our virtual summit today. It's been some very exciting talks, and yeah, happy to take it forward from here and talk about some of the work here that we've been doing as part of Project Nanda and building up to some reference and implementations and demos that will be shown by my colleagues Ayush and Maria right after me. So, a lot of the work that we do here at Nanda starts with some academic work, writing research papers as part of a big consortium and group of brilliant people across industry, academia, and so on and so forth. So, before I start talking to you about some of our core contributions as well as the demos, would strongly encourage you to check out our papers from this link with the QR code, and I'll talk to you more about joining this amazing writing group shortly. Uh, Ramesh has touched upon this idea of the index, the Nanda Index, which is this quilt-like registry aggregator that we view as sort of the core piece of this Internet of AI agents to enable this identifiability, discoverability, and handshake between distributed agents across distributed ecosystems. So the core piece, as I mentioned, for that from Nanda is this idea of an index. The index is a lightweight sort of, let's call it a lightweight uh, aggregator of information of very, very static, not changing very fast information associated with agents on this Internet of AI agents. So for example, the index consists of agent names, uh, aspects such as their ID, what we call an agent facts URL, which is a detailed metadata schema that I'll talk to you about shortly, as well as aspects such as routing and time to live and so on and so forth. The core design philosophy of how we are viewing indexing, routing, and registry on this Internet of AI agents as a function of agents being ephemeral, autonomous, and sort of basically self-performing is that we intend for this index to be lightweight, static, and broadly interfaceable with industry registries and so on and so forth, and all of the critical metadata and information that is necessary for agents to know about each other, find out how to talk with each other, and so on and so forth, lies in what we call an agent facts schema. Now, as I mentioned, each index entry links to this agent fact schema, and the agent fact schema is a detailed sort of metadata of all aspects that are necessary for agents to talk with each other. These includes aspects such as identity, endpoints, skills, uh, sort of preferences, monitoring such as telemetry, trust and verifications, auditing, so on and so forth. Now, a lot of you may think that this looks quite similar to aspects such as agent card from Google, similar things from Salesforce. And this is true. Metadata schemas are going to be very, very important. Think of agent facts as a one step beyond a sort of superset of all of these with very critical aspects such as moving beyond self-certification of skills to auditability of skills, trust, verification, telemetry, and so on. So these are the two critical components of the Nanda Index. This uh, avenue of enabling discoverability, identifiability, so on and so forth on this Internet of AI agents. Now, the index itself has the index architecture is designed to be extremely diverse in terms of agent resolution paths to allow for different types of agents and agentic entities to be listed and to be able to operate via the index. The first type of entity is agents that are directly registered as part of the Nanda index. So they have an entry on the index with their agent name that is certified and authenticated by Nanda that links to their agent fact schema, which can be hosted anywhere. The point of agent facts is to be decentralized, The agent owner can decide to host it themselves, decide to host it on some third party avenue, whatever they want. The agent fact schema will then link to the metadata relating to the agent, including usage formats, endpoints, and so on and so forth. But of course, we do not want to limit the NANDA index to be only for agents that are certified, authenticated, and registered via NANDA, but also for other critical types of agents, including via enterprise registries. So, for example, if an enterprise entity does not want to directly list their agents on an NANDA index, we allow for the enterprise registry to be indexable from the from the NANDA index, and therefore via the registry, via the enterprise registry, which allows the enterprise entity to certify, authenticate, so on and so forth, their agents. Via this enterprise registry, we are able to access this enterprise agent fact schema and then move from there. And finally, the third type of resolution path that the NANDA index allows is for enterprise certified and authenticated uh, agents, but those that are directly also visible on the NANDA index, allowing for easier discovery and search and so on and so forth. And they again, from the NANDA index, from the lightweight NANDA index, are directed to the agent fact schema and from agent facts URL, and from the facts URL, move forward to understanding the agent, working with the agent, setting up the handshake. Very important point as we build this NANDA index is the NANDA index is only important for that initial first handshake between two agents. When you want to discover an agent that, for example, does some specific type of, let's say, medical diagnosis on the Internet of AI agents, you would use the NANDA index to find this particular agent by leveraging the agent facts metadata about their skills and so on, and find that agent endpoint. Once you've found that endpoint, then you don't need to come back to the index again. Then it's a completely peer-to-peer system where you establish the communication with that agentic entity and talk to them independent of the NANDA index. This architecture for the NANDA index, as well as several other critical components, such as why we need a new index architecture in the agentic ecosystem, or why we need a new, or what are the comparison between different types of indexes or registries that exist out there, or what are some security considerations for this index registry, all that kind of stuff. All of these are questions that we've been considering as part of the Nanda writing group and Nanda papers community. And if you're interested, please do follow this link over here. We have a detailed onboarding guide where you can join the Nanda writing group as a contributor. We ask you to first sign up uh, and help us with or start off by reviewing some of the existing Nanda papers on the Nanda papers GitHub repo, which you can follow from this link. And then once you've reviewed the papers, you've contributed to their refinement, then we allow you to onboard as part of a contributing member, and finally as part of a core writing group member. So would encourage you to go to this link, look at all of these steps, this 5-step process that we have in detail, and very, very happy to have a bunch of contributors for this writing group. Now, so what we just discussed was the Nanda index architecture, the sort of fundamental infra piece that we believe will enable discoverability, identifiability, and handshake across organizational silos in a distributed agentic internet. Now, it, that before we move on to the demo, we have, of course, set up a bunch of reference implementations for all of these things that we'll be talking about shortly. But before that, uh, I'd like to talk to you very briefly about how this index piece plays a role in onboarding or joining this Internet of AI agents if you wish to participate in it. So, as I mentioned, the index piece is sort of the base layer, the first layer, via which you can get what we call an agent name that Ramesh demonstrated as part of Join 39, which will also be demonstrated later. This registration, this core registration on the index and getting your agent name is facilitated by our index API, which I'll show you shortly. Uh, After this, the next thing that you do is create your agent facts and then host that agent facts somewhere of your choice. Now, as I mentioned, this is completely decentralized, so agent facts can be hosted either personally or on some aggregator portal so on and so forth. We will show you a reference implementation for a agent facts aggregator portal that allows you to host your agent facts, have them available and indexable by the Nanda index, and therefore allow for handshakes between agents. Uh, and of course, the final piece is once you have registered your agent name, hosted your agent facts, finally you go ahead and host your agent on a public endpoint, update your agent facts and index entry accordingly. And my colleague Ayush will talk to you about our agent adapter SDK that will allow you to host agents very, very easily, interface with the Nanda index, and uh, uh, try out some of our aspects. Uh, one of the core aspects, one of the key aspects to emphasize is Nanda is built on an ecosystem of partner entities. Nanda is just a lightweight index, or the Nanda index is just a lightweight index that allows you to uh, be discoverable across entities, but it's really enabled by a decentralized set of partner entities. So, for example, a typical workflow for someone who wants to join this Internet of AI agents would be first using some kind of front-end registration portal such as Join39, which will be shown later, which is similar to GoDaddy in the sense that it allows you to get your name and get your entry on the lightweight Nanda index. Once you've done that, you can then list your agent facts on any of those agent facts listing entities that may exist out there, including our reference implementation, but really it could be any agent facts hosting entity, including hosting yourself. Once you've hosted the agent facts, you can then host your agent in any of the hosting services that may exist out there, including some of the common ones. You can host it locally, you can host it using some fourth party, third party service, and anything beyond that. And these are very analogous to how web hosting works in today's web ecosystem, going from DNS to GoDaddy, which allows you to buy a domain to Route 53 and finally to cloud hosting of agents. And again, as I mentioned, Nanda is intended to be extremely diverse and democratic. So, for example, if there are enterprise registries that are not directly listed on Nanda Index, the Nanda Index allows for a link to these enterprise registries who may have agents behind a silo or something like that. And the same resolution path continues that way as well, including front-end registration via their maybe proprietary service, agent facts hosting, and then agent hosting solutions. Uh, as I mentioned, the Nanda Index is built on top of a diverse ecosystem. And to kickstart this ecosystem, we have some reference APIs and implementations to allow for people to build services that allow to add entries onto the Nanda Index or host API specs or host the agent facts. And we have a couple of uh, GitHub repos already for this, which you can find at github.com/projectnanda. This repo, for example, is the uh, API spec for our lightweight Nanda index that allows you to add entries to the index. An entry to the index obviously is extremely lightweight. It's just your agent name and your link to the agent facts schema. And this is an API spec that allows you to do that. And so anyone can build their own GoDaddy basically on top of the Nanda index to allow for people to register on the Nanda index. The second reference implementation that we have over here is this agent facts sort of aggregator portal, which allows for people to host their agent facts publicly if they wish to do it that way, with endpoints to create agent facts, update them, and so on and so forth. So would encourage you to check out these specs and schemas and build on top of them to utilize this Nanda index and ecosystem. With this now, I've talked to you in detail about the foundations of the Nanda index, how the Nanda index interfaces with the decentralized agent facts metadata to allow for agent discovery and identification at scale. Now I'll hand over to my colleague Maria, who will talk to you about